I don't hear you in Skype. Hey guys, welcome to the Sportscast. Let me let me reset this because the Sportscast is live right now. But waiting for 1 second, Ryan. Let me call you back, okay, Ryan? Okay, let me call him back, guys. So sorry. Sometimes these OS's updates happen, but this is a special. Oh wow, this is a special Sportscast about Auburn. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe in all our channels, YouTube, iTunes, and Periscope. And let's get Ryan on Skype. But the thing is, we're starting. So a lot of exciting things happening in the Sportscast this weekend. We got a lot going on with college football. Big 3 games happening, and pretty excited about that because you hardly see it happening all the time. So, pretty excited about what's going to happen in the next couple of days in college football. And, of course, Auburn lost against the Florida Gators. That's what we're going to talk about right now. And this intro of the podcast is different, but it happens when you have technical difficulties at times.
You have reached the voicemail box of...
And Ryan is not picking up. Let me pick it one more time. Florida Gators, had a sloppy game.
Sorry, Santiago, I had to call on the other line.
It's okay. Well, we're starting here on the Sportscast. It's October 9th, 2019. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe in all our channels, YouTube, Periscope, and iTunes. And if you're in iTunes, please leave a rating and a review. It will help us out tremendously. And visit us on thesportscast.net for the latest and greatest in sports. This podcast is sponsored by Insta Bible. Read your Bible on your iPhone and only on the iPhone. Amical Perrine was too slow to play for Auburn 3 years ago. A hurtful evaluation that stuck with him. He showed plenty of speed while running away with the Tigers, the Auburn Tigers, and a few guys he played against in high school in the swamp this past Saturday. Perrine broke loose for an 88-yard touchdown run in the fourth quarter. Florida's defense delivered another gem, and the number 10 Gators beat the 7th-ranked Auburn 24-13 in a matchup of unbeaten teams. And to join us to talk to us a little bit about this matchup, Ryan Christa, welcome back.
Santiago, the swamp was alive Saturday, wasn't it?
It was, and you were the only sportscast commentator that predicted Florida to win. Everyone picked Auburn.
Well, I had hope. I was probably more my fandom than my heart. If I was neutral, I may have gone the other way. But that defense was awesome, though. I mean, they really limited Auburn's rushing attack and made Bo Nix first time really look like a fresh.
Yeah, something to definitely look like to look at. Of course, it was a sloppy game. Florida pulled through. What was your analysis over this matchup?
Well, I think that one thing to look at, a lot of people on Twitter, the media said, Auburn lost the game and Florida didn't win it, but Florida gave them 13 points basically off turnovers and a fake punt, and so Florida in itself had to go out and overcome all those and win the game. Was the offense great at times? No. Did the injury to Kyle Trask hurt us? Yeah, but Emory Jones came in and did a good job. My fears of the offensive line being dominated by really good Auburn defensive line came true. Derek Brown was awesome for Auburn on Saturday. It was all over the field. And luckily he got tripped up by the 30-yard line. I know he may have scored a touchdown for the Tigers. But they're kind of able to manufacture some offense. Dan Mullen in his great schemes, was able to put together some, short passes for Kyle Trask. And Brady Swain, the receiver, had a huge day for the Gators. And like you said, Michael Pirine sealed the deal and got a little revenge on Auburn.
Kyle Trask, he's a couple games in, replacing the starting quarterback. 234 yards. Obviously, he got injured in the game. What'd you think about his performance?
He was he's been so consistent. Is he going to allow you? No. Is he going to make crazy throws? Is he crazy athletic? No. But he knows where to put the ball, and he plays within himself, and he puts the Gators in good position. He doesn't he's prone to make a mistake or two, but that's going to come with a lack of experience. Not only is he just hasn't played a lot of football here, but you could tell he's prepared, each week. When the first couple of drives of each game comes in, it really, really connects, and helps the Gators get off to a good start.
Something to definitely look at. Florida Gators is definitely a force to be reckoned with, but can they continue the success against LSU next week?
It is going to be hard, Santiago. LSU's offense is playing off the charts. Joe Burrows is hardly even recognizable from the same quarterback we saw last year. They talked about they were going to bring in a new offense. They brought in Joe Brady, who was the quarterback coach for the Saints, and they really brought in a spread passing attack, and it's made a big difference. They're putting up an insane amount. They're averaging 56 points a game, Santiago. In the SEC, that is a huge number. They got a lot of frisbee-chasing dogs as wide receivers. They'll catch anything. They're going to put a lot of pressure on this Florida defense. They average 56 points a game. Florida has given up only 57 points all year. So it's going to be good versus good. And they're going to, one thing Florida is going to give up points because you're not going to control LSU. You're not going to stop them. But so Florida's going to have to manufacture some points. And I don't know. It's hard to tell because, LSU defense has been on the field more than usual. If the defense isn't good or, is it just a scheme really not complementing the defense? But, they got a lot of great athletes on that side of the ball. I'm just going to – it could be, a tough night for the Gators, especially going to Death Valley on that Saturday night.
One thing that we're going to expect a lot is turnovers for this game. If you like the Auburn and Florida turnover fest, get ready for more of the same, only with even more intensity to the battle. The Gators have come up with 3 or more takeaways in each of their last 4 games, and they've turned it over 2 times and more 4 times on the season. They'll capitalize on a few big mistakes to keep this close. However, even though Joe Burrow and the LSU offense will be held in check for most of the game, it'll get its shots in just enough to get out to a lead the Gators won't be able to overcome. Can the Gators stop LSU and Joe Burrow?
We got we're going to try to put a lot of pressure, but, it's going to, here's the thing, Ty Grafton, the defense coordinator for the Gators, his thing is always about blitzing and putting a lot of pressure. You blitz LSU, you're going to get burned because their athletes are wide receiver. They get the ball out quick. Ask Texas how blitzing works for them. Not so good. So, they're going to rely a lot on their secondary, play a lot of coverage, I think, and hope that their front four can put enough pressure on Joe Burrow to make him uncomfortable. Like I said, you're not going to control, you're not going to keep this team completely under wraps just because of the way they're playing. But can you do enough to win the game? Can you complement your offense and your offense complement your defense? Because it's going to take a team effort. If one side of the ball isn't working good, it's going to be a long night for the Gators. When you look at these games, home against Auburn, well, it seemed tough. That was almost a must-win because at least now, if the Gators do fall this game and win out and they beat Georgia, they will still go to the SEC championship. And that's kind of the ultimate goal, I think, for this team. Would they like to go to the playoffs? Yes. But is it realistic in a year or two? Probably not, Santiago. We're trying to just get a little bit better from last year, and I was in a 10-win team last year. So we're on the uprise. This is going to be a great challenge and see how far we've come.
From the 6 games they have, the 2 hardest games for sure is LSU, which is this weekend, and Georgia on the 2nd of November. Those are the 2 games you got to worry about. One game, you got to go to LSU, and the other game, Georgia comes to you. I would think LSU is harder than Georgia.
Well, the Georgia game is a neutral site. It's played in Jacksonville every year.
I apologize, fans.
No, that's all right. So you know, this is almost a game where you, as a Gator fan, you're just gonna feel like it's gonna be hard to win. There's a lot of things going against you. You're going against a team that's probably more talented than you right now, a little bit deeper, but you know, but whenever these two teams play, it always seems it comes down to the last quarter. Maybe not the last play, but definitely down to the end of the game. And if the Gators are in that position, I think that will be a success for the team. Ultimately, you want to win the game, but just staying competitive for 4 quarters right now seems like a great goal for the Gators.
Something to definitely look at. Now, what if they lose against LSU but beat Georgia? What are the playoff potentials there?
Well, I mean, 11-1 in the SEC, beating Georgia, you're going to be up there. You know,
That's
then
not
it
bad.
all depends what you do in the Then it's what you do in the SEC championship game against LSU again, or Alabama, or I mean, that could still be Auburn too. So
That's something to look at because I believe if they beat Georgia, they'll win the SEC East.
yeah, because they'll win the tiebreaker. Yeah. So like, I mean, this game is important, but ultimately, I'm really circling. I mean, they got to go to they got to go to the Columbia, as they say. You know, they got to go to South Carolina, they got to go to Missouri, and those winning the road games in the SEC is always going to be tough. So,
but you know,
you can't overlook that. But and you can't overlook that for sure at the end of the year. Doesn't mean if you ultimately want to go to the playoffs. But like I said, I think the goal this year was just going to the SEC championship, because that means you beat Georgia.
Yeah, it's something that you got to kind of take a look at because you can afford a loss with LSU.
You can probably afford one loss to this because, again, it's not a division game. But what a statement this game is going to make.
If they beat LSU and run the table, this could be a very underrated Florida team.
Yeah, there's a lot. We still, our offensive line still struggling.
Still talking the town.
We're not incredibly dynamic on offense, which is fine. And the defense is kind of holding us together, but we're better on offense than we have been with. The MO for years is that the Gators was a defensively oriented team, and all Florida fans want is an exciting offense. And we can see potential, and I think that's what gets people excited because we got a lot of these, the core coming back. So making strides this year and see what happens.
Is this the best team since like the Tebow era?
They did go. They 1 year in the Will Muschamp, they won 11-1 in the regular season. Again, so this is how important the Georgia game is. They go 11-1, lose to Georgia. Georgia also goes 11-1, and because of the tiebreaker, Georgia goes to the SEC championship game. And people will remember that game. That's the game where Aaron Murray was 2 yards short of beating Georgia and won in the classic game, which is pretty much was a championship because Alabama went to the championship and rolled Notre Dame quite easily.
Something to definitely look at in the next couple of weeks. But Florida, everyone's eyeing Florida as of right now. Let's look at the ACC scores. Louisville beat Boston College 41-39. Boston College is still slumping.
Maybe a good one for Louisville there. This is a team, just trying to rebuild from their program, hit rock bottom last year. So any wins they can get in conference is definitely a bonus. Again, Boston College continuously disappoints me.
Virginia Tech beat Miami at Miami 42-35.
Yeah, they got off that big start, and then Miami comes roaring back, led by N'Kosi Perry. Santiago, that's a blast from the past, coming back and almost leading the Hurricanes to victory. But Virginia Tech, credit to them, they came out strong and held on, getting a big victory for that team.
UNC beat Georgia Tech 38-22.
Georgia Tech is a long way from being competitive. Transitioning from triple option to standard 21st century offense has been a difficult for Jeff Collins. Give him time, recruiting like a beast. They will be good, but definitely a necessary victory for Mac Brown in North Carolina.
Pitt beat Duke 33-30.
It is a game where, Pitt, I believe, it was winning by 20-plus points in the second half. Duke comes roaring back, but, Pitt holds on and wins this game. They're a tough team to judge, Pitt. They're up and down. They beat UCF one week and barely hold on to beat Delaware, but, they got their starting quarterback, Kenny Pickett, back this week, so that helped out and to get the victory.
Something to definitely look at. Let's go look at the AP Top 25. We're seeing Cincinnati at number 25. I think because they beat UCF last week, so it's not surprising.
Yeah, they entered the poll with a huge victory for their team and kind of shapes the American Conference. This is a UCF team. We saw their regular season streak come to an end, and now their conference streak come to an end. This defense at Cincinnati is very strong, and they got just enough offense to win the game.
Texas A&M, number 24. People think they should not be ranked.
Yeah, I think that's on reputation and Jimbo Fisher. I don't think it'll be really anybody. But hey, you go and beat Alabama on Saturday. You go and prove yourself.
That's something tough to do, but we'll see what happens. Baylor University, the Baylor Bears are 22.
Undefeated, but fighting Matt Rules. This is a couple years ago. He came in and inherited the biggest dumpster fire in college football after the Art Ryle scandal. It was 1-11. Then last year improves to 7-6, wins the bowl game, and now they're 5-0. We're kind of the meat of their conference season coming up, but that's kind of a nice story to see in college football. The rebound of the Baylor Bears. And
SMU moved up three spaces up to 21.
San Diego down 30-9 in the fourth quarter. The Ponies came back and won this game in triple overtime against the Golden Hurricanes of Tulsa. Strong effort in the fourth quarter, slow start. This is a team that beat SMU in the last game of the regular season last year and kept them out of a bowl game. So definitely important game for SMU, and definitely to keep their hopes alive to maybe make a group of New Year's Six bowl game.
And Florida jumped up to the 7th spot. That's pretty accurate.
Yeah, like we kind of talked about last week, there's a logjam. All those top teams haven't really played, haven't been tested yet. So, as we get to the meat of October and November, it just, some teams will fall off that cliff a little bit and there'll be room to maneuver a little bit. Obviously, all eyes are on Dallas, Texas Saturday with the Red River Shootout between Oklahoma and Texas, and that will kind of, that may loosen up the top a little bit.
Let's see what happens. That will be safe till game predictions. Anything else on college football before we head into the NFL?
Yeah, before then, I'd like to give you my kind of shed some light on the group of five here. We talked a little bit about Cincinnati and SMU. So let's do the top five here in the group of five. Number 5, let's go with the newcomer, the Cincinnati Bearcats.
Oof.
We talked about they are led by a strong defense, decent offense. This is a team that I think, who want to be at UCLA at the beginning of the year. Definitely a team looking on the uprise, and we'll stick in the American Conference from number 4, and that is the Memphis Tigers. They undefeated. Got tested a little bit by Louisiana Monroe, team that I probably didn't think to be tested about, but they got the victory. Number 3, Appalachian State, who has a huge game tonight against Louisiana Lafayette Raging Cajuns. And then number 2, we talked about the Ponies of SMU staying undefeated. And number 1 is the Boise State Broncos.
Boise State. Why Boise State?
Yeah. Well, out on reputation, they got that big victory early on against Florida State. But, they're kind of, they keep on rolling in Mountain West, which is a very good conference. They got a lot of their big conference games coming up here in the next couple weeks against Utah State and Fresno State, San Diego State. So we'll see how good this team really is. But right now, they're kind of the leading candidate to head to the Big Time Bowl this year.
And that you can see on the Sportscast, Ryan Christa's Group of 5, top 5 in the non-power conference.
Yeah,
non-power 5 conference.
I know a lot of people talk about the big boys, which is important, but there's a lot of good football players, maybe not in prime time.
Let's move to the NFL. The Denver Broncos built a big enough lead to hold off the Los Angeles Chargers and get Vic Fangio his first win as an NFL head coach in a 20-10 victory in Week 5. Denver flirted with disaster throughout, but the Broncos had a crucial 5-play, 41-yard drive in the waning moments of the fourth quarter of a one-score game to hold off a Chargers comeback attempt. Ryan, The Broncos got it.
They got it done, team effort. Got off to that good start offensively, up 17-0, and basically just held off the Chargers. The Broncos did their best to give away the game, but the Chargers said, "No, thank you. We'll give it right back to you." It wasn't a pretty game. It was, I'd say, when in the NFL or anything, you got this fan-only game, so. Really, the only people watching the game, especially when you got the Cowboys and Packers and mainstream TV, is Broncos and Chargers fans. But the Broncos got it done, and let's see if we can be like the 1994 Chargers and be the only team 0-4 to go to the playoffs.
And their next game is against the Titans. What do you expect in that matchup?
Yeah, they play hard on defense. The Titans kind of a mirror team. Not flashy, physical. The Titans depend on running the ball a lot. Titans are coming off a tough loss to the Bills on Sunday, so I expect a hard-fought game. Low scoring. Definitely a winnable game for either team.
And the Titans came off of a loss against the Buffalo Bills last weekend.
Yeah, so 14-7. So they'll be hungry because they can't afford really another loss, and especially in that if they want to stay close in their division.
Yeah, we'll definitely be looking at that for the next couple of days. Gardner Minshew got his first loss.
Second. He lost to the
Texans
earlier.
Well, from his streak, his past winning streak, he got his loss, but obviously it's been a couple of games. And yeah, anyways, anything else in the NFL that you want to talk about? Tom Brady, the Patriots, the firing of Jay Gruden. What are your thoughts about that?
It's probably coming. Their team struggled a lot. So, especially, he had one shot, and that was to beat the Patriots on Sunday, and that didn't happen. But
there's no way they could have beat the Patriots.
Things are going straight forward in the NFL right now. So, but we'll definitely get, as we get close to the midway point of the year, we'll see who is the contenders and who is the pretenders.
Do you think we'll see Haskins this season more?
Definitely.
Something to look at.
Especially as the team is going nowhere, they will definitely be playing Haskins a lot.
Are the 49ers 4-0 the real deal?
I definitely looked like it on Monday night, Santiago, where they blasting the Browns 31-3. Did not see that coming. They're just well balanced. They got their defense is playing well, and they're off. Got balanced offense. Kyle Shanahan's proven himself as again one of the best play callers in football.
And there you have it. There's the NFL update. Ryan, are you ready for game predictions?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Oklahoma at Texas.
Red River shootout. There will be plenty of offense to be going around in this game. Classic Big 12 matchup. And you can't go against Oklahoma right now. They're the best, so let's go with them.
There's no point for the defenses to show up in this game, right?
It's probably whoever's defense shows up a little bit wins, and I think Oklahoma can do that.
Michigan State at Wisconsin.
Wisconsin's playing too well. Let's go with them over Sparty.
Alabama at Texas A&M.
Oh, yeah. Easy one. Let's go Roll Tide.
Penn State at Iowa.
First thing you just would, after watching Iowa struggle so much on offense, but home game Saturday night in Iowa, it's definitely coming down to the end. But I think Penn State makes a play at the end to win.
Penn State wins in Iowa. USC at Notre Dame, Fighting Irish.
It's Notre Dame. I think they're just too balanced of a football team.
Reason why I say this because USC could go, show up one day and they could not show up one day. So that's why that game is put in.
I mean, they got talent, but
and the biggest game,
there's definitely some weaknesses,
in my opinion, and maybe the sportscast opinion, but it's back to differ. UF at LSU.
My heart. I let's go Gators.
But what is the biggest game? UF LSU or Oklahoma Texas?
It's probably Florida and LSU too, because of both teams are undefeated.
And Titans at the Broncos.
Again, gotta go with my heart. The Broncos.
Broncos win in Denver. And will you be watching the Joker movie?
Probably not.
No Joker movie for Ryan.
No. The next superhero movie I watch will probably be the first superhero movie I watch.
Ryan, how can people reach you to talk to you about the quarterback Trask?
Probably Mad Dog Reporter on Twitter is the best way.
And there you have it. You can follow us this weekend for college football. We'll be covering LSU, UF, Oklahoma, Texas, and we have another game we're going to cover Alabama and Texas A&M. That's an automatic. So keep following us on Twitter at the Sportscast1 or on the Sportscast.net. And we'll keep you in touch. Tomorrow we have Justin Riley for our Alabama update. And on Friday we have Jeff Favre talking to us about what's going on with the Chiefs. They did not play, and they lost against the Colts. How about that, Ryan?
I think we just found a blueprint to beat the Chiefs, and that's, run the ball. Hold the ball away from Patrick Mahomes, blitz the heck out of him, and force the ball out of his hand. It wasn't a pretty game, but it was probably the best way to beat the Chiefs. Take the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands.
There you have it. There's always a way to figure out offenses, but no one has ever figured out to beat the Patriots except the Giants and Eagles.
I mean, the Colts are. they lack, without Andrew Luck, they lack the star power, but on the first grade, they really came for identity. They first did great there on both sides of the ball.
Well, there you have it. This weekend, 3 big games. Stay tuned on the sportscast.net. Ryan, Christa, I appreciate you coming on to give us a little bit of a Wednesday update on college football and the NFL and the Broncos.
No problem. Hoop season is not too far away.
Go Gators.
Go Gators. Let's go.